Here's warm-up 8.3.1. Okay, so I've got this sequence. I'm going to be looking for a pattern first to try to figure out if it's arithmetic or geometric. So I can see that I'm adding the same thing to get from term to term here. I'm adding 4. So that means that this is arithmetic, okay? And that means I can use the arithmetic specific term formula. Looks like this. Okay, I'm going to be looking for the 88th term. My first term I can see is 3. My difference is 4. That's what I'm adding to get from term to term. And then I just plug 88 in for n. And then it's just PEMDAS from there. Order of operations. So then I'll multiply. And add. And 351 should be that 88th term, a lot quicker than building out all 88 terms and maybe losing count along the way. Okay, so number 2, evaluate this arithmetic series. So we're told that this is arithmetic, which means we've got a formula here. So the formula looks like this. It's the number of terms times the average of the first and last terms. Okay, so I'm going to be looking for the sum of the first 32 terms since I've got a 32 up there. So n is going to be 32. Okay, whoops, it shouldn't have an equal sign there. And then I need my first and last terms. Okay, so my first term, let's just build it. So I'm going to plug a 1 into the term builder to build my first term. So 4 times 1 minus 2. And that 4 minus 2 is 2, right? So my first term is going to be 2. Okay, so that is going to go here. All right, now I need the last term. I could build out all 32 terms, but let's not bother with the stuff in the middle. We just need to know what comes at the end. And I'm going to get that last term by plugging in a 32 into the term builder. Okay, so I'm going to have 2, then a bunch of other stuff, and then, let's see, 4 times 32 minus 2 would put me at 126. So the last term then is going to be 126. So I'm going to average 2 and 126, then I'll multiply by 32. Okay, so let's see, that's average of 2 and 126 is going to be 64. And then I'm going to get 2,048. Okay. All right, next problem's a little trickier because they don't tell us the first term. It'd sure be nice to have the first term, but we have the 9th term and the 14th term, and we're looking for the 6th term. So since this is arithmetic, I'm going to be using this formula, but I'm going to soup it up a little bit, change it a little bit. So instead of the 1s, since I don't know anything about the first term here, I'm going to change that 1 into an m. And that means I'm going to have to change that into an m. So I'm rewriting this formula just to make it more useful for this situation. Okay, and again, I changed this. Those used to be 1s, now they're m's. Okay, and now I can put any terms into these 2 slots. So my first goal here is going to be to find the common difference. So the way I'm going to do that is to use my 2 terms that I know. So I can put either a sub 14 or a sub 9 in this first slot here. It doesn't really matter. I like to put the one with the higher term number first, because then when I do the subtraction, it'll turn out positive, but it doesn't really matter. You could have put a sub 9 in this slot, okay? But then I'll put the other one, a sub 9. So those are interchangeable. But then when you get to the parentheses, make sure you put them in the same order. So I'm going to have 14 minus 9 in here, where if you had it reversed, then it'd be 9 minus 14, okay? Which will get you to the same place, but just be careful, okay? Now that I got that set up, I'm going to substitute in the actual value of those terms. So a sub 14 was 195, and a sub 9 was 120. Okay, and I'll go ahead and start simplifying this a little. 14 minus 9 is 5. Okay, so some people will do this all in one step, but then I find what people do on accident is they'll, in the parentheses, they'll do 195 minus 120. So that's why I like to write, okay, got my 14th term, 9th term, Make sure I don't mix those up with the actual values of the terms. And now I should be able to solve this for D, right? So I could write that as 5D. So I'll subtract 120. That gives me 75 equals 5. Oh, I changed my D into a B there. Oops. And then I'll divide by 5, and D equals 15. Okay, so my difference to get from term to term is 15. So I could kind of work my way backwards from the 9th to the 6th term. So that wouldn't be that difficult. But let's use the formula again. So I'm going to find a sub 6. That's my second goal. That's what I'm trying to do in the problem, right? So I'm using the same formula again, but I'm going to use this formula, but I'm going to set it up so that a sub 6 is the isolated part, because that's what I want to figure out what it equals, okay? In the second slot, it doesn't matter. You can put a sub 9, you can put a sub 14. I'm just going to leave a sub 9 in that slot, so I've got the same number there that I had before. I don't know why I'm mixing up my the way I'm writing the a's. Let me change it there. Okay, so I've got a sub 9 in that slot. Next will come my difference, which I just figured out was 15, so I'm going to put that in, okay? And then I'm going to have 6 minus 9 as the contents there, the parentheses, because 6 and 9, okay? Now I'll plug in what I can. I know what a sub 9 is. A sub 9 is 120. Okay, 6 minus 9 is negative 3. Okay, and then a sub 6 would be 75. That's the end of the warm-up, and I'll see you next time.